I constantly speak to SaHura about like how she could have handled it differently or went about it differently. I tell her a lot of times because most of the time she's not wrong. She's not wrong. It's just the approach, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just the approach. So her learning to be mindful of that approach, but then also speaking to the adult, like someone like my mother, and just explaining just this paradigm shift and just how what we're used to, and just helping to point out that she might not have necessarily been in the wrong, and we can talk, but it was more about like her approach. And that's what we have to address. Like we have to address the approach to it and not necessarily what she did, in making the distinction between that. And I actually think that it's been helpful, like in trying to deal with both parties.
Yeah, that's great, by the way. And I think it leaves a lot of room for growth for everybody involved because it doesn't sound like to the adult, you're not apologizing for what happened with the child. You're not apologizing for the child. You're explaining where the child is coming from in words that maybe the elder can understand, like basically being a translator. And the fact that the elder in this case was your mom meant that the approach can come from more of a love centered space and less of a cautionary tale. I imagine if it was like some stranger or whatever that happened with, the approach might be a little different in explaining it. But it's great that you took the opportunity to have it both be a learning and also an understanding phase so that your mom has an opportunity now to understand your family dynamic and also her granddaughter a little better. That's really cool. I like that.
It's definitely a journey.
For sure.